Okay.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Applause of one.
I love it. It's like while I pack up the gear, it's like there's only one person clapping.
I feel like an applause of one is like more of an insult than it sounds like that on a podcast, more than just saying like a good job on your introductions.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Welcome to...
Go, sorry.
You like that segue?
No,
okay.
I was just
Welcome
wondering how you're going to introduce nothing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Calligram podcast. I'm here with Noah.
Hello, I'm Noah.
This is Noah. I'm Izac. This voice is Izac. And today, no one else is here. It's just us two.
Mm-hmm.
You might know about a little 3-part series that we did earlier in our podcast's history called Writing, Part 1 through 3. And Noah and I decided that we're going to slap on a Part 4 and whatever may come afterwards today.
Mm-hmm.
Just going to talk about writing and generally the creative process. And maybe you'll get nothing from this, but we don't know. So we'll see.
I'm honestly wondering how much of this is like a repeat. You know, because like...
Oh, yeah.
I obviously have heard the podcast that we did back.
Yeah.
And
but it was a while ago.
Yeah, and I can't remember what was said.
Yeah.
So get ready for the same points said again.
We just can't talk about Eraserhead much because I feel like we've absolutely covered Eraserhead and a lot of Jodo.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so no, if anybody mentions Jodo or Eraserhead on this podcast,
that's it.
Yeah.
And what to do when you have no ideas.
We did do that.
We've already done that, so we can't cover that either.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, we'll start with Noah. You had this suggestion.
Yeah.
Kelly Holden sent me a great video that I'm going to put up on the Calligram Instagram story of John Cleese explaining what taking your time in the creative process is and how it can give value to the outcome of whatever you're working on and how rushing something can strangle the creative process because you're spending less time sitting in the uncomfortability of not knowing your outcome yet.
Yeah, he said you'll make up more creative suggestions on how to deal with a problem.
Because you've pondered it for longer rather than finding a solution that's maybe not the single best solution. Which I agreed with everything he said.
Yeah, he's great. I'm glad you forwarded that to me. He's very, I don't know. I love Monty Python. I mean, I don't know if it's been said on this podcast, but like they're probably the one thing from like me being super young and watching them because my mum put me onto it that I just have kept that's not aged poorly because you watch a bunch of shit when you're a kid and
ages like
some
milk.
Of it ages like milk and some of it is the Cat in the Hat, but like when you watch it when you're older, it's
Norbit aged well as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Marmaduke as well, good things from the 2000s, but like Monty Python just will remain for me some of the most important stuff I've ever seen. It's hilarious. I love it so much. And Faulty Towers as well, because of John. But yeah, he's brilliant. It was a great thing to be said, and I agree.
Yeah, it gives a lot of... I'm glad that he put that out there because I know that, well, for us as like young writers, obviously when you're trying to figure out a certain element of your script and you can't find the answer straight away, obviously that feeling is it can be pretty uncomfortable. And I know, like, I don't know, when I'm on my own for too long with writing, I get like super self-dramatic where I'm like, oh, maybe I'm not like the writer that I think I am. Like I get, you know what I mean? I go there sometimes if I'm really stuck on something and I just fucking cannot find the piece.
Can you go into that
fills it in? Yeah, well, because okay, so it's an unsettling thought thinking like I'm not the writer that I am or the writer that I want to be. But that's generally a good space to be in because I'm always trying to write something that I begin and I have no idea how to write. So I run into that roadblock a lot. It's like, oh, of course, I've never written this before. Obviously, I'm going to have challenges and I'm going to hit walls that I feel like, oh, have I made this too, like, is this too nuanced? Like, am I not mature enough to, like, do this tastefully or, like, elegantly? But if you're a young writer, all you need is really, like, well, first of all, you just need some faith in yourself, which is no one can really put that in there but you sometimes. And listening to John Cleese say, "Oi, take your time. Sometimes it's better if it takes longer." That's a really nice, encouraging piece of advice that he's put out there.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that he did. That's really cool. I know a lot of people who would benefit from hearing that.
Yeah.
I certainly did.
Well, it's good that it's not even just like some sort of bullshit motivational advice of like, it's okay to be stuck, don't worry. It's like an explanation why spending time in the problem is actually the best way to make something more innovative that hasn't been made before, sort of thing. Yeah. It was the first thing I said after I played that reel this morning to you, because I watched it in front of you because you texted it to me, and then
I was like, I do this a lot with my friends. I'm like, you didn't see it? No, here, we're gonna watch it together right now.
But it was but I said, like, that's what it is. Like, if you know the ending before you start, then why are you even writing it?
Yeah.
But which is something I think I've already said on this podcast that I feel is true. But because I'll get stuck sometimes with trying to work out a problem with writing, and then I'll sit and think or like write a bunch of shit to try and work that out. And if I can't solve it in like half an hour, I give up and I'll leave it for like a week.
Yep.
And then in a week, I'll come back to it, read it, and I'll solve it in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, right.
And it's just because I've been writing for 2 hours, and then I get up to a point and I'm just like, I'm screwed. It's that old like brain trick of if you spend too much time doing one thing at once, you're actually not going to get better at it. You have to like wait a day and then do it again. Like, you're better off practicing something if you practice for short periods of time over a week than trying to like practice it for long periods of time every day for a week. Like, you'll learn more if you do it in quick succession with breaks.
Yeah, gotcha.
That's probably what it is. It's just like you need to forget the problem and then come back to it, because then you'll be looking at all this working out that you've done and be like, oh fuck this.
Yeah, what was this? This is all rambling. Yeah, no, and that's often the case. And like, I was talking to my mum yesterday. I was watching the Women's World Cup, Australia versus France. Good game, by the way. Congrats to the team. But my mum was like, so you're still writing that feature? And I said, yeah. And she said, hasn't it been... I felt like that moment in Synecdoche where it's like, Caden, it's been 17 years. When are we going to get all these in it? But I was just like, look, I don't know what to say to you. Like, I'm still writing it. And the reason that things take so long is not that I sit there and I've been consistently writing it, only drinking water and bread, at the desk. Yeah. It's the time in between. Yeah. Like, I need to stew on it for a week, go and live my life, like watch a film, get an idea from there. Maybe that links back into something that I haven't figured out yet. But yeah, no, I agree. But it's good. It's good to feel like you still have something to prove. And obviously, I feel like I have lots to prove to myself, first and foremost, because I haven't made a feature. I'm excited to do that, submit it, and then reanalyze and then see what the next step is in like developing myself as a writer. It's really because you and I, we know that we could write something that is, okay, the hero begins, he meets his love interest in the first act, they have a little bit of a beef, maybe they dislike each other, he's like disgruntled and doesn't want to accept the task that the local town has offered to him because they need saving, and then he works on himself and meets the villain, and then works hard, and the woman that he hated in the beginning starts to like him, and then he defeats the problem, marries the woman, and then the story ends.
Sure.
Obviously, we know it's tried and tested. We know this story's there.
Yeah.
But I have no interest
no, it's boring.
in telling the story because it's already been done, first of all.
Sure.
It's been done well as well, plenty of times.
Yep.
And, well, I mean, like, why are you writing something that you know, that you understand the steps of how to figure it out? I don't get it. I feel like I could write that. And like there's good versions of that story.
Because it's easy.
But it's easy. It's so easy.
Yeah.
Anyway, it seems boring to me.
I don't think, I go back and forth. No, I don't. That's a lie. This is like, I'll promise I'll link this back.
Okay.
There's an interview that's one of the only existing interviews on tape, like audio interviews, with Stanley Kubrick, but it's about it's Stanley Kubrick on press tour for Full Metal Jacket. So this is like 87. This is like late Kubrick when he's much later in his life. And he said during that interview to the guy who was interviewing him that he thought that he's found that audiences to be much more reliable in terms of testing a film's quality or longevity than critics. He mentioned that audiences will naturally gravitate towards stuff that, you know, might be a little bit dumb and fun and trite and that sort of stuff. Because they're people, they'll do that. But also, like, that doesn't stop them from acknowledging something when it's true or a little bit different. It doesn't prevent you from, you know, just because you're going to watch some trash, it doesn't stop you from watching a good movie the next day.
Yeah, it's very true.
So, like, I think it's an idea that, like, audiences don't want to be challenged. And that, you know, it's that Park Chan-wook quote where he's like...
Oh, yeah, if you want to relax, take a bath.
Yeah, don't go to the cinema. But, you know, I don't know. It's an American way of viewing film. And I think Australia is... I don't know how rough I can be on this podcast. Trying hard to be America. And by that I mean, or at least trying to be Hollywood. There's plenty of great independent American cinema. But, like, they're trying to be, you know, blockbuster town. Which there's good blockbuster movies, there's plenty of them. But if it's the same plot again and again and again, I mean, how interesting can it really be?
Yeah.
Izac said before we turned the cameras on here, I watched a boxing fight with Izac last week, or a couple of weeks back, I think. And he was like... It
was Crawford versus Spence, for anyone who knows.
There you go. So I have no idea about boxing. I watched a bunch of boxing movies to prepare for
Bleeder.
For Bleeder.
Yeah.
And because I just didn't have any, like, particular interest in, like, fight movies, and I've always found that the stuff that interested me more in those movies wasn't, like, the fight sequences. It was always just, like, people's personal family issues and stuff.
That's why Rocky's, like, kind of good.
Yeah. I saw the setup and I really, really liked that. I saw Requiem for a Heavyweight and I really, really liked that. There's, like, all movies from, like, 40s and 50s and shit.
Okay.
And the best one I think that I saw Rocco and His Brothers, which is this, like, amazing Italian drama movie. And it's boxing in it. It's probably a little bit disingenuous to say this is a boxing movie, but like it is a big plot point in the film. But, like, it's like this very long, epic, romantic family love drama thing. And that was the best one that I saw, I think. Barring the fact that the performances are, like, amazing in the film. Anyhow, I'm really going tangential.
No, you're good.
But Izac sat me down to watch this boxing fight, and he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry if I made you watch a boxing fight."
Yeah.
Because
I realized after the fact. Yeah.
And I was like, "Dude, I'll watch fucking anything."
Yeah.
Apart from another movie in this particular
series
of films, because I've seen.
Even though you're not a boxing fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've seen the prequels to this series of films, and I've seen the sequels to this series of films, and I've seen a bit of TV material based on this series of films, and I'm just so fucking bored. I don't care anymore. Everything's just dull and boring, and I understand that people love this stuff, but, like, God, is it dull? I don't know how many times. If somebody did something interesting with it, I'd probably really care. But it just seems to me that, like, it's the same shit over and over again, or, like, it's more focused on doing a bunch of flashy effects and not writing anything. And it's the same thing you said earlier. It's like, oh, here are the plot points to write a story.
Yeah.
It's like, how...
It's like, I already know what
I'm
they
so
are.
bored. Like, do something. Do anything. Like...
Yeah.
I honestly think it's just because people want to turn Netflix on after a hard day and not think.
Yeah.
And just, like, watch some shit, you know?
And I get that as well.
Yeah.
I have my shows like that.
Yeah,
I have seen Norbit 24 times.
Yeah, but there is a point when stuff like that becomes so, like, you know, awful.
Yeah.
That it's really good.
I really enjoy Norbit.
Yeah.
Like, unironically at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to see two types of movies.
Yeah.
I want to see extraordinary movies and extraordinarily amazing movies.
Yeah, right.
I want to see the two things at the both sides of the scale.
Yeah. I'm only interested in ones that swing for the fence.
Sure.
Miss or hit.
Yeah. Because I've seen, like, 1 out of 10 movies in terms of, like, quality. There's a bunch of them that you never want to fucking watch, and you never want to watch them again, and you're halfway through or 20 minutes in, you're like, fuck this, I'm so out.
Yeah.
But there's a special...
I'm going to shout out the fucking Hunter Biden movie.
We mentioned that on half.
Yeah.
Man, it was
fuck it. It was shit.
That didn't even qualify.
We can't call that a movie.
No.
Yeah.
That
I was
like
bored instantly.
Yeah, that was like a short film project. I've seen shorts at university that were better filmed, better performed, better at everything than that.
Yeah.
That was like a YouTube sketch from 2010 level. Like,
I think
bullshit.
we can rip on this, I reckon.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. It was like literally, it was trying to pay homage to a bunch of things that were clear inspirations for the film, with zero understanding for why the context makes those things work.
Yeah, and also like zero humor. Like it's just not funny.
Exactly.
And it's not funny because, oh, I'm such a woke liberal and this is offending me. It's not funny because you guys just aren't funny.
Yeah.
You're just not funny.
Exactly.
it's just boring.
Yeah.
It's because like bad humor can go one or two ways, right? It's like Cat in the Hat level bad humor, where it's like so absurdist that it's not funny, but it's so absurd. Like you thought that was funny. Like it's so funny that you thought that was funny.
Yeah.
And now I'm gonna laugh because
it's hilarious.
The hysterics of it. And then there's just like you being fucking dull and like this is just not the joke's just flat. Like I could watch anything else right now and it would be funnier.
Yeah. Right.
Like really, like it's just boring.
Yeah, I agree. There was they were doing like the meta Big Short style with none of the humor.
Yeah,
it was not funny at all.
The
and
thing
it was
about like
just
direct address and like doing things with camera equipment and things that you actually have to also be funny. You actually have to like be a comedian and like make jokes, and it's like a different profession too. Like you have to. There's a bunch of there's this trend in like recent years of comedians, like stand-up comics, going and writing and directing films, and they're often really not good. They're not. It's not even that they're not funny, which most of them aren't even funny. It's that the story is not funny, and it makes total sense. It's like, yes, you're a funny person, and somebody's like, okay, you should make a movie because you're a great stand-up.
Yeah.
It's like being able to tell a story on stage and address an audience. I think it's honestly probably the most difficult thing to do in entertainment. I think I kind of hold stand-up comedy as like
it's one of the most
peak difficulty. Like it's probably harder than making a film if you really, really try and do it. I mean, I don't know, because I've never done it, but I think doing a good stand-up set is like impossible.
Yeah, it's like the what's the name of that movement? Dogma something.
Dogma 95.
Yeah, it's like the Dogma 95 of comedy.
Yeah, it is.
It's like strip everything away. Yeah. You have microphone, PA system.
Face this crowd, make them laugh,
and now make them laugh for an hour.
Yeah,
yeah,
for an hour.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah, making somebody laugh for like 20 seconds, maybe. Yeah, but an hour.
I feel good every time. I feel like I accomplished something.
An hour is impossible, right? But like those skills of being able to stand in front of an audience and make everybody laugh doesn't automatically translate to you being able to write a funny screenplay where like plot points are funny, there's jokes people tell each other that are funny, the story's compelling, all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, Million Ways to Die in the West.
Oh yeah, it's awful.
A bunch of little jokes.
Yeah, it's terrible.
That's it. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's not funny.
Yeah, it works with Family Guy.
Yeah,
it doesn't work with a feature.
No, it just doesn't translate because it's just different professions. Bringing it back to John Cleese over here.
Right.
One of the only people I think I've seen, funny stage comedy, funny theatre sketch comedy, but translated well to film. I mean, Terry Gilliam had a lot to do with that.
I was about to say, thank you, Monty Python, for kind of giving us Terry Gilliam. I'm sure he would have found his way one
Terry
way or
Jones.
another. Yeah.
But like those directors translating that to film, it's a different skill set of writing to me, like totally different. There's people who can do it. It's like Conan O'Brien writes The Simpsons and then goes and does a talk show and can do both those things. I don't think that's as many people are capable of doing both.
He's pretty incredible.
He's hilarious. I fucking love Conan. Yeah.
And he's like a certified genius.
Yeah, he's brilliant
as well.
too,
So that helps. Yeah.
Well, a lot of these stand-up people are fucking super smart too.
Oh yeah.
But there's one Bo Burnham. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like you don't just go. It probably helps that his shows, like his stand-up shows, are so cinematic. But translating that to make Eighth Grade, like Eighth Grade's a debut picture. It's not a great film, but it's a really fucking good film.
I like Eighth Grade quite a lot. Yeah.
Especially like for like a debut feature coming out of the gate, doing a movie about high school. Like high school's one of the easiest things to fuck up. Yeah. Because you can just have terrible actors, like awful.
Yeah, I was about to say working with young actors.
Oh Jesus.
Straight off the bat is so brave. Yeah. I'm not that brave yet. I don't want to do that.
No. Yeah, that's crazy. But like he's one in a million who's been able to like I think do a stand up. I just finished watching this TV show. I gotta shut up and let you talk.
No,
I just finished watching the full show of F is for Family by
Bill Burr. Yeah,
and he had other writers in the. I wish I knew the other writers' names. But that is a great television show.
Yeah,
an unbelievably consistent show. It's not like a South Park South Park's a bad example. It's not like The Simpsons where every episode's a reset sort of a thing. It is a continuous story that is like 20-minute episodes, but over some of them are a bit longer, but like over 5 seasons of television. It's one long story, and it's like writing that much of a screenplay. It's consistently hilarious. It's fantastic. Like great performances from Laura Dern and Sam Rockwell, and like they just knew what the hell to do. And he's a incredible stand-up, but also like that is a very, very well written show, a great show.
I've never watched it.
Oh,
I'm a big fan of his stand-up though.
Oh, it's such a great show. It's hilarious. It's like super psychedelic. It's insane.
There's a heap of because Bill, I know just about his childhood. He's announced a lot of times that he's had heavy anger issues, and the fact that it comes from his dad and his like Boston culture is what he attributes it to. Is terrible.
In the 80s,
well, not terrible, but like harsh as hell. Yeah. He's got a lot of good jokes about that. That's funny you say psychedelic, because he mentions he has a Bill Burr Live at Red Rocks is on Netflix. And he talks about the fact that after years of his friends trying to put him onto it, he finally did magic mushrooms.
Oh, yeah.
And he said that he was feeling great. And then he fell into a deep, like, pit of despair and was like, you're angry because of all of these feelings of rejection, and you think everyone's gonna leave you. And then Bill goes, oh, fuck! And he's like, how do I get out of this? And he just explains how he kind of emotionally works through like some memories that he had in his childhood. And it's so interesting because it's so raw as well, because it's his first time with magic mushrooms. And the man is 40 to 50 years old, and he's trying to work through 40 to 50 years of things that he hasn't figured out. And on stage, and it's hilarious. Right. It's amazing. I would recommend that show to anyone.
That's so good. There's a bunch of like sequences in the show there where it's like animated a bit like The Simpsons. But it eventually there's like we go inside a lot of people's heads, or like you see their experiences of things. Even in the opening episode, like they see color television for the first time because they've come out, and there's like you get this crazy like colorful, psychedelic, surreal sequence where they like try and put you in the perspective of a kid seeing color on television for the first time. And like later in the series, like these really horribly traumatic shit happens, and then like the kids are trying to like process it, and so you get their like sort of like dream or fantasy sequences of things happening. There's like planes having sex, and I don't want to spoil the show, but it's just great stuff. It's so funny, and anytime the show like steps into that sort of like surrealism, it's funny consistently without doing any of that sort of stuff. But anytime it does, it's always just like this huge like, oh, it's so great. Like I love it. It's fantastic.
That's really cool. I'm gonna give it a go.
It's so worth it. I highly recommend it to everybody. Everybody should watch that show. It's great.
Man. Fake segue, because I already knew this because I'm so smart. So with like stand-up as well, there's this awesome show that just came out called The Bear.
Am I gonna leave in you saying fake segue?
No, fuck it.
That's fine.
Okay, fake segue, because I didn't just Google this, and I don't have his name here right in front of me. But Christopher Storer, who worked, and he's clearly been involved in a major way with some of my favorite stand-up specials ever, like Bo Burnham's What, Bo Burnham's Make Happy. What's probably, it's like top 5 stand-up specials I've ever seen.
You like What more than Make Happy?
I think it's funnier, but I'm really moved emotionally by Make Happy.
That last bit of Make Happy clenches that for me as being better.
As being, I
love that last
the bit with the
rant.
And it turns on the audience. It's pretty good. It's pretty bloody good. What made me laugh more?
That
that whole bit with the I'll move on to this in a
That's
second.
all right, we do it both.
But the bit where it's like, we're going to play a little call and response game.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a
I can't
joke.
even say what it is, but it's just like,
joke,
our favorite flavor of chips, salt and vit.
Yeah.
And then puts the microphone to the crowd and he goes, get these motherfuckers. Grab him up against the police sirens.
Yeah.
And that amazing joke where it's like, he's like, you know, this show is planned to the word, to the number, to the syllable. Pew! And he does finger guns and they have the like lightning sound effect. It's mint.
There's lots of cinematic jokes in those. I love the one where
they're
he's
so
like,
funny.
here's a joke about continuity people or something.
And his
or video
t-shirt.
editors, and you wouldn't notice it unless you noticed it.
Yeah.
That's really smart.
It's so good. But so Christopher Storer is also involved with this amazing show that just started. They've just released their second season. It's called The Bear. It's on Disney Plus. It's like, it really embraces the like I don't want to say angry culture, that's so rough, but like I guess loud and outspoken and strong opinioned culture of like Chicago and Boston, and it seems like it's pretty prominent in New York, you know, like people are like, hey, I'm like it's like, oh, don't mind him, he's, you know, this joke is like he's from New York or something, he's just like a bit more abrasive. Everyone on the show is like this,
right?
That you put them in the environment of the fact that, this is not a spoiler because it's the setup, is there's this restaurant that's been left to this character who is a Michelin star chef, and it's a sandwich shop in downtown Chicago, and his brother's just committed suicide, and in his will he left him the shop. So this super talented chef has to manage this shop full of non-chefs, just people who work in a sandwich shop, and he tries to run it and build it to be successful in memory of his brother. That's a big thing. He wants to kind of become okay with the fact that his brother's committed suicide, so he's trying to like fix the things that his brother couldn't. And it's just like, it's so quick. It's so angry. There's surreal sequences, which I did not expect at all from a show about hospitality. There's scenes where, like, the opening shot of the series is the main character. He's asleep on a bridge, and he wakes up, and there's a bear in a cage in front of him, and the bear starts walking towards him, and then he wakes up. And he walks to you realize he's been sleeping in his restaurant, and he walks to the front door and realizes that someone's given him 10 pounds of beef instead of 200 because he couldn't afford it. And now he has to spend the morning finding 190 pounds of beef to like survive the day by his own means. So he's like selling jeans to like buy beef, all this stuff. But every little bit of surrealism, just like, it makes it so interesting. It takes you out of the stress of the reality of it for a little bit as well, which is nice for your viewing experience. Otherwise you just get overloaded. Yeah, it's fantastic. I just want to throw that recommendation in there too. It's so good. I can't wait to watch season 2. It's beautiful. Beautiful show. There's it's worth noting as well, just because this is the thing that everyone's talking about. There's episode 7 of the 8 episode season 1 is 20 minutes long, and I haven't confirmed this, but it's an actual one shot.
Oh wow!
In this
Very cool.
Restaurant with so many things happening.
Awesome.
And it's a perfect.
Right.
It's a perfect one shot. There's not soft focus.
Yeah.
I was looking for all these.
Do you mean it's a faked one or just an actual
I
one?
think it's a real one.
You didn't see any.
No,
anything.
like people
Cool.
walked past frame.
Yeah.
But I was like, that's so. Sure, you could have done that.
Right.
But there's no lag. You know how sometimes they enter the frame one speed and they leave like a little slower or something, and you're like, here's the cut.
Sure. There's no extras in the background that didn't line up. Or
nothing. Nothing.
Damn.
Zip. It's mint.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and then there's a mental breakdown at the end. That's perfect because that's what they're building up to.
There you go.
Yeah. So I love The Bear. I think it's
Cool.
great.
Cool.
Have you seen Inside yet?
No, I still haven't fucking seen
Noah,
Inside.
holy shit.
I know. Look, I got caught up in trying to write a movie and edit another one.
That's fair. Well, now that you've got time.
Look, I'll watch Inside.
Yeah.
We'll review it. We'll review Inside for like 45 minutes because
Yeah,
I'm sure there's
cool.
enough in there.
I guarantee that we'll be able to.
Good. And I think there's a thing that came out of like his extras that didn't make it or whatever.
It was another 45 minutes.
No way.
Yeah.
It's the same.
And it's all hilarious.
Oh, fucking awesome. Right?
There's one joke in there. I remember being at work at my old job and I was on my lunch break and we used to just like sit in front of our computers and watch YouTube or something for half an hour.
Sure, yeah.
And so I was watching Bo Burnham's extras and I spat my food out onto my keyboard and started hysterically laughing,
Nice.
which is just so scary when you're in a quiet office and everyone has headphones on because you're not in tune with anyone else. So for them, it would have just seemed like just from the other side of the desk, and I realized how like crazy I would have sounded.
Awesome.
But it's an amazing joke.
We'll do an Inside episode.
I think you're gonna love it.
Forever. I watched him on YouTube and was familiar with all that sort of stuff. So
yeah, he's a prodigy.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, he's been funny for his.
I don't think people who know him of this specials have seen like words.
Oh, I've seen words.
It's so good.
It's really good.
His amazing Katy Perry on the piano bit where he did Welcome to YouTube. Do you know about this?
No.
Oh shit! He performed it. I think it was the YouTube Awards or like whatever it was called, the Streamies. I forget what it was called. But like back in the day, YouTube had like VidCon, or I don't know if VidCon's still a fucking thing or not. But like, I feel like that age of like sketch comedy YouTubers who were really, really funny if you were 12 has like died.
Yeah.
A little bit. Maybe they're on TikTok now or some shit, I don't know. But yeah, he performed a song called Welcome to YouTube, and there's like, it's funny because he has that line in if you search for moral wisdom in Katy Perry's lyrics, then kill yourself. you know that. Oh right. Yeah. Right. Yeah, is that joke. That's from
I think that's.
I'm pretty sure it's in What.
Yeah.
Anyhow, but yeah, there's this hilarious.
It might be. Does he go? Hey, by the way, disclaimer: don't kill yourself. I don't usually give disclaimers, but maybe the song where I tell you to kill yourself might need one.
Be a joke. Yeah. Anyhow, but there's this. He's performing on stage a song called Welcome to YouTube, and he's like, I don't know, he's 18, I think, at the time, and Katy Perry's lying across the piano, and she does the intro, and like they do this like sweeping camera. It's a live event, and so the live
doesn't she like hit on him?
She's like, well, he's 18. She says something like weirdly like he's 18 at least, or like some weird like sexual thing, and it's like, what the fuck is this bullshit? Like, it's so creepy. Anyhow,
I just gotta say, the woman does not know how to act.
No.
He has this joke, I don't know if I'm gonna spoil one joke and it's from the Inside extras, and I'm gonna fuck it up, so fuck it, let's do it.
Thanks.
This is my favorite joke from the extras.
Okay.
So and it's kind of related to writing, so we can talk about it.
Thank God we got back on this.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So Bo, he's presenting it like he's a self-help YouTuber. He goes, hey, inspirational quote for the day today, guys. Don't be anyone else when you can be yourself, because being yourself, you're the only person in the world who can do this. And it's like, oh, nice. And he goes, but if being yourself isn't working, be someone else, because clearly you're not good enough and you need to change yourself because you're not it. And if being yourself and not being yourself, if neither of those are working, just go like this. Ooh! That's what he does.
That's the joke.
That's the joke. And I was like, I fucking... But he obviously does. There's not a good way to do that. I was just absolutely... Oh my God. I couldn't believe that was the punchline of the fucking joke. Oh man. But the point of the story is just be yourself with writing.
Right, that's the
Be
point.
authentic. It's what he's making fun
Don't go
of.
on TikTok and make a stupid face.
Yeah, exactly.
That's having a personality.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And that's the point. And obviously, like every alternative, the joke. I'm here explaining a fucking joke, for fuck's sake, Izac. But like obviously every alternative to being yourself gets progressively more ridiculous
Sure.
the further you stray.
Yeah.
Like, thanks, Bo. It's actually it's so funny to me.
Yeah.
I love it, but it's actually like quite nice.
Yeah.
It's a good sentiment.
Mm-hmm.
What are we talking about? Writing? Let's talk about writing.
I remember at like one point in that previous podcast, after we finished going on about Jodo for however long, you said something like, what were we doing? And I was like, we should probably talk about writing. We're the same fucking problem. I don't know, we're talking about shows we like. These are good writing things. You know, you should go watch those. That's how you learn how to write.
Totally.
Go watch good shit.
Yep. Bo Burnham's Inside, Make Happy, What, Words. All of them helpful. F is for Family, The Bear. No, would you ever write a TV show or a stand-up? Would you ever try stand-up?
Fuck no.
Or would you write, like, stand-up for someone else?
No, because I think that's lame.
That's fair.
I think people
I would feel
have
like
ghostwriters are lame.
Yeah, totally. Stand-up comics who have ghostwriters. It's the same way I feel about rappers.
If you have help,
sorry, Drake.
acknowledge the help.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't say sorry to Drake.
Yeah.
Your best album was ghostwritten. No bones about it. I'm not saying it's true. It just is.
That's so fire.
I don't even like Drake, but friggin'
if you're reading this,
it's too late. I mean, it's not some sort of life-changing experience, but it's the most consistent thing he put out, and somebody else wrote it.
Bangers on that album.
Yeah,
man. Few of them.
And then you can't take credit for any of them.
Yeah, and especially if you're in a realm, I don't know if stand-up has the same competitive culture that hip-hop seems to have, where multiple rappers will claim the title of greatest of all time or best dead or alive or top 5 dead or alive.
I think in order to be
top 2 and not 2.
In order to be a good comedian, you got to have some self-awareness. And so sitting around here being like, I'm the best, I'm better than you because I said I was, is just about like the least self-aware, most cringeworthy shit you can say.
That's true.
And I know, like, I get that it's in hip-hop and we're about like bragging and saying this and that, but like, you know, every time I hear Jack Harlow say a bar like,
I'm the best white rapper since the one that rapped about vomit and sweaters. And hold the comments because I promise I'm honestly better. That's what he
said. I think it was not even on his song where he was like, I make vets look like they're newbies or whatever. And I was like, motherfucker.
No, you don't. Killer Mike is not worried about Jack Harlow, bro. Yeah.
He gives a shit. Like,
I think if you're in a space where it does get so competitive, or like, I'll rephrase, because obviously everything is competitive. You want to be the highest earning comedian. You want to perfect your craft so it's the best. You want to be better than other comedians.
Sure.
But not that you're like you would write a whole set to be like, oh, I want this to be better than Bill Burr. Like, that's a great way to fucking write a horrible set to try and be like someone else. But
I'm sure there's a bunch of like jealousy and competitiveness in stand-up.
And I'm sure in every industry ever.
Yeah,
totally. But I guess in hip hop, people are open to being like having open beef with each other, and it's more common, and claiming that you're the best. If you have a ghostwriter, you're done.
Yeah,
you're out of that race.
You're actually worse than the worst guy who writes his own lyrics.
Totally, yeah. And your ghostwriter's the worst too, because he doesn't even have like a way to. He doesn't want to claim his own writing. I making a buck.
Lot of the reason that ghostwriters write, well, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. It's like you're still complicit with it.
Yeah.
So no, I don't have very much respect for people who ghostwrite, and I have even less respect for people
who accept ghostwriting,
who pay for ghostwriters.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so Noah and I. No, this is actually a good story.
It's a good story.
So Noah and I,
when was this? During uni?
It was
last year uni.
3rd year uni.
Yeah.
We went to this. There was a writer that we knew that was speaking at a cinema
that we knew of.
And he told a story about the fact that he was hired because he had a certain influence within a given genre to write an episode of a TV show. And he wrote the episode of the TV show. They didn't like it. And then they got a team of unknown writers, the ghost writers, to come in and write the show. But they still wanted to use his name because the name held weight. And he said, guys, moral of the story is, don't worry, take the check and shut up. and he told this to a room full of young, impressionable writers, including Noah and I. Yeah. Luckily, Noah and I were naturally skeptical of this guy.
He said some other shit that night.
Yeah, he said some
where I was just
horrible.
Everything that comes out of your mouth is just bullshit. Like, I just zero respect for the guy by the end of it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It was all just like, hey, here's how you make money.
It wasn't even that. It was even worse. It was like, I used this private event from my own personal life that if the person who, you know...
Yeah.
Well, and all I
if they were in the audience, they might have died from embarrassment.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Like, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, that was pretty eye-opening. There was someone who fell asleep in the audience, too. That was pretty funny. Fell asleep right next to us.
Yeah, well...
And
they probably got more out of it. I think the hour of sleep is probably better than listening to him.
Wasn't it like $20 to see it or something?
I can't remember.
Motherfucker,
I don't think
lunch.
I paid. I think you had 2 tickets and you were like, you want to come with me?
Yeah. What the fuck? Yeah. Oh, yeah, I picked you up and dropped you up. Yeah, I remember now. That's lunch. We could have gotten food instead.
Fuck yeah.
Sustenance for the body. Much better than doo-doo for the brain.
We did that on a t-shirt. Yeah. Sustenance for the body is much better than doo-doo
for the brain.
Izac Project.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that was feral. Oh, Noah, here's it. Okay, we can get a bit meta here.
Fuck.
What goes into your thinking when you... Because obviously we know that how bad it can be when someone who has a platform talks to some people who are interested in learning about the medium, or like maybe they're just interested in us or whatever. I don't know why you guys listen to us, but whatever your reason is, maybe you enjoy it. That would be nice. Someone who, like, we know how bad it is when someone gives you such bad information at something like that, and you've put in either the time or the money or the effort or all three. What goes into you speaking on the podcast? Do you have, because obviously you wouldn't, do you speak, I already know the fucking answer to this question, okay. But like I think it would be good for it
I'll try and answer it in a way where you won't be able to predict it.
Okay, sick. Alright, cool. What goes into your process speaking on something that is a platform such as the Calligram podcast?
I try and say as much stuff as I can to...
Fuck's sake, I can tell.
To make people like me. So I try and not be honest. I try and just fabricate as many of my opinions as I can, because I think that's probably better for like a viewing audience. I am most interested in having a platform for commerciality reasons, so like for advertising, very invested in like my online presence, and I think it's really important to like get as many followers and like... Because what I'm trying to do at the end of the day is like sell a bunch of advice that will make people lots of money.
Yeah.
And will also make me a lot of money. And basically, if you're not in this business to cash out, then I don't know what you're doing. This is what it's here for. Movies are here to be made for a profit and money. And I don't know what, you're trying to be artistic in this medium.
What for?
Why?
Like, we're not kids anymore.
Yeah.
What are you doing listening to bedtime stories?
See, Bedtime Stories by Adam Sandler, that's a proper film. That's the sort of thing you want to make.
Bugsy is one of the greatest characters ever written in the 21st century.
The next, when he makes that movie and fuses it with the remote, the click remote. Like
click, yeah.
That'll be great. Bedtime Clicks by Adam Sandler. The dog humps the stuffed duck, and it's hilarious.
Oh, it's so funny.
That is comedy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about when I say that, some stand-up comedians actually manage to make movies that are really good, like cinematic movies. When I saw that dog humping that duck, that's when I knew that was cinema.
And I like when it happens again and again.
It's always, well, that's just the rule of comedy. It's always funnier the 14th time.
Yeah. You're right. It's all about, the thing is, if you want an audience to understand your style, before they can enjoy it, you have to beat them over the head with it. You have to condition them to your style.
That's true.
And then they will, more or less, you beat them into submission, into enjoying your film.
It's true. There's this shit filmmaker who's absolutely awful called Robert Bresson, who said...
Oh, he fucking sucks.
He's absolutely terrible. He makes, like, dumb movies where, like, the lead characters in movies are, like, a bit of money or a donkey or some stupid shit like this. And anyhow, but he said...
A donkey.
A donkey was
That
like...
will never work.
Oh, it's awful.
Yeah.
But he said one good thing in an interview once where he said, somebody said, you've been accused of, like, being boring and repetitive because of, you know, you do the same plot over and over again. He was like, well, you could say that that's repetitive, but really what you're just saying is that I have style, which is the only...
And obviously he's full of shit.
Well, but he does have a style. Yeah. His style is just, you know, bored and trite.
Yeah.
That's his style. But, you know, it's true.
That's not filmmaking.
No, well, yeah. It's the only thing that he got right, I think, was that you have to just do the same thing over and over again. that's the most profitable thing to do. Okay.
So you're saying that Bedtime Stories was influenced by Alhazard Balthazar?
No, I'm sure Adam Sandler, I'm sure he has no idea who Bresson is. And I think that's probably for the best. He doesn't need to watch any of that shit.
You know what?
I'm having so much fun. I just want to grift.
I want to do a whole episode like this.
This is more fun than normal.
Yeah. You know who else I fucking hate, and I wish he would just fucking shut up for good? Charlie Kaufman.
I agree.
That idiot.
He's so useless.
What's he doing? What is he doing?
He's writing a book now. Because
because the movies weren't boring enough.
Yeah, he gave up.
He went into the...
There weren't enough words in his movies. He's like, I need more words and less... Because everybody knows that books are just dull. And
of course.
Watching something's way more interesting.
Anyone who reads books is stupid.
He was like, these movies that I'm putting out here, even though there's like 18 plots and nobody can follow them, and he always does these stupid mind trick things in his movies.
Oh, they're so stupid.
He always... It was like, this shit is just too... it is convoluted, but I'm giving some people some entertainment, you know. I gotta go write an 800-page meta book with purposeful spelling errors in it. Yeah. Just to annoy people more.
I think the reason why he wrote the book is because finally, you know when you go to the doctor and there's all the magazines and stuff, he's finally found his audience. People who have no choice but to read nothing.
Yeah. People who like being bored.
Then you can...
I think he's probably got some deal where, like, you know, Banshees of Inisherin.
That piece of shit.
You know how there's that, like, isolated island where, like, I'm sure on that island somewhere there's, like, a bookstore. And Charlie Kaufman's got an exclusive deal where that's the only book in the store. So people, the only thing they can read is an 800-page piece of nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ant-kind.
More like... So, because what, humankind? And now we're ants? The humans are ants? Is that the joke?
That's so fucking stupid.
I'm sure there's some like big philosophical thing in the book. I haven't fucking read it. I wouldn't know.
Yeah. I wish I didn't read it.
Okay,
I thought I was reading a Matthew Riley crime thriller, and I took the cover off and I said, "My God, I've been duped." And underneath it was fucking Ant-kind by Charlie Kaufman.
Have we done an hour?
Yeah.
Okay. Should we stop this grift and do another episode of this where we actually make a good
point or two?
I'd like to talk a little bit about... I mean, I can transition from this pretty easily into like why watching bad movies is actually... I think better than watching good movies if you're trying to learn how to make movies. And this is like not I'm being serious, which no one's going to take.
Guys, that was just in case you have been living under a fucking rock listening to this podcast.
I'm not explaining this.
If Charlie Kaufman doesn't get that that's a joke, then he's not who I think he is.
Imagine this is the only episode of the podcast Charlie Kaufman listens to.
And he's like,
fucking hate me.
And like, you said Ant-kind was boring. What the fuck?
The person who like literally wouldn't have written a movie if I hadn't seen this man's material.
Same.
The person who I owe the most to in terms of like creativity, probably, or writing.
I meant all that shit with Bresson though. Fuck that motherfucker.
Who cares? He died ages ago.
I think, first of all, if you're dead, you're naturally irrelevant. So let's just cut out all of those filmmakers. Tarkovsky.
Pre-1990s, there weren't any movies, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, absolutely. The first movie ever was Toy Story.
True.
1999.
Yeah. It's one of the only movies ever, too.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love that we do this podcast every week, and we're out here like...
Fucking Fellini, Tarkovsky, and we have.
I'm the
angry...
only motherfucker in the whole world talking about Bresson drinking out of Toy Story mug.
And it's not even the Angry Birds cup.
No, yeah, it should have been. That was better.
That's the better movie. All right. Well, thanks for listening.
Transition out.
That was part 4 of writing. Part 4.
Yeah. That was part 4 of writing. Part 4.
Yeah.
Part
so
4
part 60
of writing. That's 4 parts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Synecdoche writing series. And inside the episode, it's another episode, an exact replica of that episode.
It's just all embedded links on Spotify.
Mm.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, well, this is where this episode ends. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you. And Mum, if you're listening still, this is how I spend my spare time. Bye.
Goodbye.